everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out and reviewing the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. Now this isn't a new formula from my understanding. It is the Maracuja Concealer repackaged, and I believe they've also added quite a few shades, so now their shade range is much bigger than it was with the original Maracuja concealer. Still the same formula, but I had never reviewed the original Maracuja concealer here on my channel, so I figured what better time to review it than now that it has been repackaged. The applicator is supposed to be a lot better. Before it used to come in like a little squeezable tube. Now it actually has a long doe foot applicator that's flat. It reminds me a lot of the Light Illusion concealer applicator from Flower Beauty. This concealer retails for $26 US. It comes in 30 different shades. I grabbed the shade Medium Golden to try out today. You get 0.225 fluid ounces worth of product, and it has a shelf life of 12 months, which I really like. Usually concealers only have a shelf life of around 6 months. This one, twice that amount. So if you like it, you have a whole year to use it all up. Some basic information for this concealer straight from the website. It states that it is a vegan, full coverage, and creamy skincare concealer. It is meant to completely cover dark circles, hyperpigmentation, redness, pimples, tattoos, you name it. This is supposed to be able to conceal it all. It is waterproof. It doesn't crease or sit in fine lines. We shall see about that. We shall see. And it is also flower powered by vitamin C rich Maracuja for firmer, brighter, and smoother looking skin. So this is supposed to be beneficial for the under eye area as well. As far as how to use it, it does state that you should use less than what you think you need because a little bit of this concealer does go a long way. For dark circles, you are supposed to apply one swipe of the concealer to the inner half of the under eye area, focusing on where the darkness is, then blend outward. So for me, that would be right here. So I would just swipe right here one time and then blend outward this way, which is what I plan on doing. So based on everything that I've just read, it sounds like a really good full coverage concealer, but it's kind of like the opposite of the Tarte Shape Tape in that this is supposed to be hydrating, whereas the Tarte Shape Tape, I hear a lot of people saying how drying it is, especially under the eyes. I myself find that I do have to use it with my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Otherwise, it does feel a little dry underneath the eye area, I'm not gonna lie, but it has really good coverage, so that is why I use my Shape Tape. I'm really excited to use this one since this one is the opposite. This concealer does claim to not settle underneath the eye area. However, I did hear some key words in the description such as hydrating and creamy, which for me means that it is more than likely definitely going to settle in between my lines. So for that reason, I am going to set this concealer with a little bit of my RCMA No Color Loose Powder, just to try to prevent it from settling into my fine lines. Now I'm simply going to jump off camera in order to color correct the right under eye area, and I'm also going to be applying foundation onto the entire face before coming back and applying some of this concealer. Okay, so now I am back with foundation on and color corrector under the right side. So now it is time to conceal. So I'm simply going to add just a swipe here and then a swipe here and then blend it out. The website does state that it wants you to blend it out with their specific brush. However, I think I might actually blend it out with my finger, and then if I need to further blend it out, I'm going to be using my damp sponge. So starting here, where it's the darkest for me. So not a lot of product at all. So this is definitely hydrating and creamy. You can definitely feel that as you're blending it out. I'm going to blend it out with this as well. Okay, I like how it blends out using my damp sponge a lot better than my finger. And a little does go a really long way. So now I'm going to do the same to the other side. So just applying some here, just to the darkest area underneath the eye, and then blending it out with my finger first. Okay, so using the sponge, it definitely took some of the coverage off of the under eye area. So I'm going to actually apply a little tiny bit more here and a little tiny bit more here, just along my more problematic areas. And I don't have any fine lines down here, so I don't foresee this being an issue as far as provoking the entire under eye area to settle into fine lines. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little bit of my RCMA No Color Loose Powder, grabbing that with my damp sponge in order to set the concealer underneath the eyes. And this, I am hoping, will lock everything in place and it will prevent it from settling into any of my fine lines. Okay, so now that I am done setting the under eye area, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after initial application. Okay, so this is what the under eye area looks like. As you can see, I'm getting really good coverage with this concealer. I really like the way that it looks. It doesn't look dry. So far, right off the bat, it's not settling into any of my lines, but we shall see how the rest of the day goes. As of right now, I really like the coverage, and I like the way that it looks and the way that it feels. Okay, so now that you've seen the concealer up close, I'm simply going to jump off camera once again in order to finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back with a full face of makeup. It is currently 10:38 in the morning. I do plan on wearing this concealer for an entire day, and I am going to be coming back halfway through the day in order to show you all more close-ups and just talk to you about how the concealer has been wearing throughout the day up to that point. So I will see you all back here in a few hours. Okay, so now I am back for my midday check-in. It is currently 2:31. So I've had this concealer on now for about 4 hours. Yes, I did switch up the lip because the other one was just a little too bright. I don't know if I really liked it. So now I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after 4 hours of wear. Alright, so this is what the concealer looks like after 4 hours underneath my eye area. As you can tell, it has worn off along the inner corner here and a little bit here as well. Other than that, it has settled into my fine lines a little bit on both sides. So I'm glad that I did set it with a little bit of powder, because had I not, the settling underneath the eyes would have just been that much worse. Aside from that, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit better coverage here along the left side, the side that I did not color correct. Here, for whatever reason, it's just worn off along the inner corners, so. Alright, and that is all that I have for my midday check-in. I do plan on finishing off my day at around 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that. So I will see you all back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts on this concealer. Okay, so now I'm back for my final check-in. It is currently 7:35, so I've had this concealer on for, 9 hours now. Now, before I get into my overall opinion of this concealer after wearing it for an entire day, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after 9 hours of wear. Okay, so this is what the concealer looks like underneath my eye area after 9 hours. As you can see, it definitely has settled into my fine lines. It also continued to break up here along the inner corners, more so on this side than this side. Overall, I just don't really like the way that it looks underneath the eye area right now. Definitely not flattering, not doing a whole lot of concealing over here, just like you all saw during my midday check-in. Of course, that's still happening there. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not a big fan, not a big fan. So after wearing it for a full day, this is definitely a no from me. It did not wear the way that I was hoping that it would underneath the eye area. I still very much prefer the Tarte Shape Tape instead of this creaseless concealer. This one is hydrating, so perhaps if you don't prefer the dryness of the Tarte Shape Tape, you can give this one a shot. However, I just did not, it just didn't work for me. I don't like the way that it wore. It wore kind of heavy underneath the eye area, and it could be the way that I applied it. It does state that you should apply it with a brush, but I really didn't see the difference between that and like my finger, like just blending it out using my finger. I got really good coverage, and it did start off looking really, really nicely. However, now 9 hours later, it just doesn't look very nice underneath the eyes. So this may be a concealer that perhaps I have to go really, really light-handed with it. I mean, it did state a little goes a long way, but I did just apply it here. I didn't apply like my usual triangle underneath the eye area. There was definitely no need for that. Perhaps if I go even lighter with it and apply it with a brush like they suggest instead of blending it out using my finger, maybe if I don't set it, I mean, I don't know. I may have to play with it a couple more times, but testing it the way that I did today, no. It's a no from me, unfortunately. So that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future product reviews, makeup tutorials, anything beauty related. And also don't forget to follow me on all of my other social media platforms. I am All Beauty by Sarah with an H on Instagram and All Beauty by Sarah without the H on Snapchat and Twitter. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.